What's up everybody, it's HoodiePal22 coming at you again with another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your Dynasty, your settings, and your sliders. And I'm going to show you guys how to get the recent sliders that I did. In this video, the slider set is for All-American. I always do All-American sliders and Heisman sliders. But that's because some people like to play on All-American and some people like to play on Heisman. I play on both. So the reason why I like to play on All-American is because it makes it more realistic with the passing game. It's not too op, and then the sliders are not too heavily, it's not too heavily balanced toward just passing game. I want to be able to get a good balance in between running and passing. So I started up a dynasty, another Trust-State dynasty. Since the update, I had to restart. I was like 5 years in on the other dynasty, but because of the newest update that came out, I had to restart the dynasty. So I'm gonna take you in real quick, and I'm gonna show you the scores that I got on these games. Now it was 43-10 with FCS Southeast, but as you can see, it was a pretty close game through the first and second quarter, but then kind of run off on it. But I want to kind of show you guys, like, why is it not showing their stats? Do it not go back and show you their box score or something? Oh, they don't track their stats. Well, that kind of kills the video. Okay, well, let's look at Clemson. Clemson gave me a workout. I ain't even gonna lie. Clemson gave me a workout, but the game was pretty balanced. As you can see, total offense 496, 421 for me. They had 23 first downs, I had 25. And total plays, they had 57, I had 68. They had 8.7 yards per play, and I had 6.2. They had 30 rushing yards and 1 TD. I had 11 with 90. They had 1.4 yards per rush and 8.2, and that's because they was mostly passing the ball more than running. But if I could have showed you that FCS score, the FCS running back had 100 rushing yards against me, and their backup running back had like 20 rushing yards, and their quarterback had like 40 rushing yards. I probably should have. I did not know they did not track the gameplay to FCS games, but now I know that, so I guess I'll have to record the video next time when I play, because I want y'all to know that the rushing yards have been balanced out. The reason why Clemson didn't have that many rushing yards is because they chose not to rush the ball that much, honestly. They chose to just air raid me. But yeah, they had 12 yards per pass, I had 5. They had 466 passing yards, I had 331. I was 6 for 12 on third down. They was 6 for 10. Neither one of us converted fourth down. They failed a 2-point conversion. They were 66% in the red zone. I was 66% in the red zone. They had 1 turnover, 1 interception, and neither one of us had interceptions. It wasn't really much punting. So that's why you only see 5 punt return yards and 13 punt return yards. So yeah, I want y'all to see how much they got. 3 penalties for 40 yards, and we had 6 penalties for 74. So a lot of penalties was called. Okay, time of possession, they had time of possession 24 minutes. I had it 15 minutes. So it was a pretty good game for the most part. The defense was very good and balanced the way I like it for All-American. And if you get over here to where I played Memphis, I won 27-20. They end up coming back because I had ran off, I think it was 24-6, but they ended up coming back. Same thing here. Total offense, they had 353, I had 320. They had 49, I had 55. They had 7 yards per play, I had 5. They had 58 rushes. They had 14 rushes, and 58 yards. I had 23 rushes and 126 yards. They had 4 yards per rush. I had 5. Now with them, there was another team that chose to air raid me out. So that's why you could see They didn't really get much rushing yards, but I wish I could show y'all that FCS rushing, because then you will be able to understand the difference in between the rushing with the sliders. Now, most teams that you play with now in college football 26, they are more air raid teams. It ain't no way I can adjust the slider, the rushing slider, but I made it so the running backs can get. They will gas you if you don't know how to play defense. Honestly, they will gas you. They had 295 passing yards. I had 194. They went 3 for 8 on third down. I went 8 for 12. Neither one of us converted a fourth down. Well, I didn't even try. Nobody attempted a 2-point conversion. We were 66% in the red zone. They was 50. They had 2 turnovers. I had 1. I threw 1 interception. They threw 2. It wasn't much punting. Well, yes, it was. It was a few punts in this game. Was it? No, it wasn't no punts. Okay, it was no punts. Yeah. Okay, so 462 total yards, 417 total yards. They had 2 penalties. We didn't have none. We had 20 minutes of time possession. They had 19. So as you can see, it's pretty much balanced with the stats of the games I'm playing. And you can see with the scores, like they're pretty much, well, this one kind of got away in the second half. But it was a close game through the first 2 quarters. And then in the third and fourth quarter, I kind of ran off with it. Honestly, the ending score don't really tell the whole thing. But this game was definitely a battle down to the end, and this one was a battle, honestly. So now, enough of me rambling. I just wanted to show y'all that first, so it verifies what I am about to tell y'all. So in this video alone, I don't want nobody saying, oh, well, I play on Heisman or you do this on Heisman. I always make sliders to favor other people. I know some people like to play on All-American. Some people like to play on Heisman. So I'm going to do a separate slider video for Heisman. But in this one alone, it's going to be All-American. Let's just get that out the way. Okay. I turned coach firing off because the coach firing process is janky in college football 26. The coach firing process makes no sense at all. Like, I seen Steve Sarkisian win a BCS with Texas, and then the next year he's at Alabama, and I'm like, he just won a BCS. How did he get to Alabama? Right? And then you will see somebody like Les Miles. He went 9-3, and then he got fired. So I just turned coach firing off because it was too much. I'd rather them just stay with their school, whatever school they're at, and I'd rather just play it like that and let them keep their job stability at their school. And I know it kind of fits not having to switch up offensive coordinators and stuff like that, which the archetypes are really not that strong. So I'd rather you just turn coach firing off, but it's up to you if you want to or not. I do coach SP fastest. Manual progression XP penalty, I turn it off because I like to progress my players through the season, and I like to manually progress my players, so I don't want no penalty for that. So I turn it down on 0. I play 10-minute quarters with 18 second accelerated clock. Wear and tear on. Normal tackle impact 20. Catch tackle impact 20. Hit stick impact 45. Cut stick impact 45. Defender tackle advantage impact 30. Sack impact 35. Block impact 25. Impact block 25. Per play recovery is 30. Per timeout recovery is 35. Between quarter recovery is 45. Halftime recovery is 55. Week to week recovery is 68. In-game healing reserve pool is 50. Match transfers per team is 15. Now I will say this. I have anything under 20 will work. Anything under 20 will work. I do 15 because it perfectly balances out with all the teams. But anything under 20 will work. Now, if you go over 20, there's going to be some players that still don't get signed even after the update, and they will disappear. I do 45 player transfer chance because I like to retain players. I like to try to retain most of my players. But you could play with it however you want. I use 45, and I turn all this off. I like to manually progress my coach. I like to manually progress my own players, and I like to recruit my own players. Okay, XP sliders. 160 for the quarterbacks because most quarterbacks do develop faster than any other players in real life and in the game. Halfbacks 145, tight ends 130, wide receivers 145, fullbacks 100, tackles 120, guards 120, centers 120. Edge defenders 135, defensive tackles 135, middle linebackers 120, outside linebackers 120, cornerbacks 130, free safeties 115, strong safeties 115, kickers 130, punters 115. Alright. And gameplay sliders. Now, these are called 1090 sliders if you want to go download them. It's 1090 sliders by Hoodie Pap 22. I'm gonna have to name the Heisman something else because I don't want you to download it and then it just have like where you have to look at it, you don't know what you're clicking. I might do something like H1090 sliders for Heisman. I don't know yet. Quarterback accuracy is 45. Pass blocking 65 because that pass rush, I don't know what they did after the update. The pass rush is crazy. So pass blocking is 65. Wide receiver catching is 55. Now I had wide receiver catching lower, but if you lower wide receiver catching, those deep balls, those jump balls, you're never gonna catch them. Like I've seen more drops on deep passes and them jump passes when I lower this anything below 50. You're not gonna catch anything, honestly. Run blocking is 60. Ball security at 48 to get more turnovers. Pass defense reaction time 55. Interceptions 45. Pass coverage 55. Tackling 60. Because the broken tackles in this game is very up. Because college football operates on a ratings and badge system, which can most time be extremely like overpowered. Like the breaking tackles is extremely overpowered. You might say 45 is too low for interceptions, but you're gonna get like 1 or 2, maybe 3 interceptions a game. That's pretty much balanced. You shouldn't be getting a crazy amount of interceptions unless you're playing a really sorry team. But even then, quarterback accuracy is 40. And yes, I've showed y'all that the quarterback will miss throws. Like he's gonna miss throws. Now he might still throw in a 70% completion range, but that's just because the game operates off of ratings and badges. So if you're playing against a quarterback like Archie Manning, he's probably gonna go like 18 for 23. I didn't lower it below 40 because then your quarterback becomes pretty much dumb. Like he becomes brain dead. So I want to keep it competitive. So I put quarterback accuracy at 40. I put their pass blocking at 65. Wide receiver catching at 50 because the wide receivers will catch everything for the computer. I lowered it to 50. Well, I left it at 50. Because you want them to drop some passes, and I have seen like 1 or 2 drops from the computer. In 3 games, I've seen like 1 or 2 drops. It's mostly been like 2, but you will see some drops, so that will help with the quarterback completion. But then you will see very few errant throws, like where he'll throw an inaccurate ball or throw it into the ground. So these two will go together. Run blocking is on 60, but if you are very good at defense like me, I would bump it up. But the reason why I didn't do it is because if you're a smaller school playing a school like I played Clemson, you want that on 60. Now, if you're gonna be playing, if you're a smaller school playing against other Sunbelt schools, then yeah, I would kind of like bump it up to like 70 and make it more competitive. It's all about how good you are with the game, because like I said, the game is ratings based. The sliders really are not well balanced because they prefer to use badges more. So pass defense reaction time is 55, pass coverage is 55, make the computer defense better. If you're very good at pass reading coverage and throwing accurate passes, you can nerf this and bump it up to 65. But I will tell you, these two sliders right here are very overpowered. They are very overpowered. Interceptions 45, tackling is 60. Alright, field goal power 58, because you want to see longer field goals made. The most I've seen made so far is like a 54. And I turn accuracy down so that you will see more missed field goals. Not many, but you will see more missed field goals, especially the deeper that they get. Because somebody tried a 61 on me, and I mean, they made it. They tried a 61 on me and they made it. So yeah, I turned that off. I turned it down to 45. So they may or may not miss like 1 or 2 field goals. They may miss 1. And then you will still have some teams that will go like 8 for 8 from field goals. So it's perfectly balanced with it on 45. Punt power, I got it on 70. And that's because I wanna get like longer punts, so I could, like, I like to drive the field. The way I like to play the game, I like to drive the field. So I put punt power on 70. Honestly. That's how I like to play it. But if you don't like deeper punts, and it's not crazy deep. If you're on the goal line and you punt the ball, it'll probably go to like midfield, maybe to 40, the opposite 40, 45 maybe. If you're at the 40 and you're punting, you'll probably be able to punt it to like the 20 to 15. But I just like deeper punts, and I like the punt return, so I put punt power up because I think that's more realistic anyways. Watching college football nowadays, you do see the kickers have a lot more punting. I lowered the kick punt accuracy to 42. And I'm starting to notice like the computer will pin you deep on punts. Now they will pin you deep like 10 on the 10 or the 15. Sometimes you'll see on the 5. I turned it down because when I had it up high, they was punting out of bounds a lot of times. So with me turning it down, I guess it actually, I know that sounds crazy, but it helps ping you deep, and I like to drive the field, so that's why I put it like that. I turn kickoff power down on 48 because I like to return kicks. I like to see a lot of returns with the special teams. I don't like all that kicking out of the back of the end zone thing like that. Okay, injuries, I got it on 30 because the injuries are way too up. So I got it on 30. I got fatigue on 55, but that's because I have my rotations, my substitute, my auto rotations for substitute. And actually, with the fatigue on 55, I was actually supposed to bump this up, so I'm going to bump it up now. I'm going to go with 63 because 55 wasn't getting me enough substitutions. It got me a few substitutions, but I want to be able to I want my substitution sliders to kick in effect. So I bumped fatigue up to 63, right? Men player speed threshold, I bumped it down to 42. I've seen some people say bump it down to 30 or 20, but that is entirely unrealistic. Like, even watching football games this Saturday, like, players that are way faster, they're not going to be getting that much of a burst off the ball. And I'm going to tell you right now, punt returns and kick returns, they're pretty much going to run it to the house every single time. But the reason why I don't turn men player speed threshold all the way down is because we all know offensive lineman has the least speed on this game. They have 58, 60, things like that. Your defensive edge and defensive line, they have like at least 70. Some have high 70s. The defensive end, some have 80s. They're going to blow off your linemen. They're going to blow your linemen off the ball. Like, they're going to get this crazy pass rush if you turn this thing down. Now, if you turn men player speed threshold up, you will see better blocking. But then your running backs, it's going to be hard for them to run the ball. Honestly, it's going to be hard for your receivers to get separation. If you turn let's just say speed threshold. If you turn speed threshold up high, you will see better blocking because it will give your lineman an advantage against the defensive lineman. But then it will give your running backs a disadvantage, like trying to hit the edge and trying to get outside and trying to get between the blocks, because their speed will be balanced. So it depends on how you want to play with it. I bump it down to 42 to at least give the speedsters a slight edge, but I cannot play with it on 30. That's entirely too unrealistic, and I want my lineman to be able to have a chance to block, honestly. I didn't touch any of the rain precipitations. Now with penalties, outside I got it at 60. False start I got it at 60. Holding I got it at 65. Face mask I got it at 0. Defensive pass interference I got it at 80. Offensive pass interference on. Kick catch interference on. Illegal blocking the back 0. Intentional grounding off. Roughing the passer, that's supposed to be off. I thought I did it, but I guess it didn't save. Okay, the reason why I turned roughing the passer off is because, for one, it affects the way that your lineman blocks and the way your quarterback reacts. So I'm seeing, like, a lot of time you rush, it affects the quarterback scrambling with roughing the pass on. I don't know how, but it does. I turned it off and I started noticing that the quarterbacks will like extend plays. And another reason why I turned roughing the pass off, because I started to notice a lot of buggy calls with roughing the passer. Like, they would throw roughing the passer calls, and then when I go back and replay it, the defensive lineman just barely touched him. Like, if the quarterback is throwing and his arm touched the defensive lineman, they'll throw a flag and say roughing the passer. And then they would say, like, a lot of times, like, after the quarterback throws and he starts walking upwards, and if you a defensive lineman and standing in the way when he's walking upwards the field and he walks into you, they will throw roughing the passer. So it's pretty much like if you just at least touched the quarterback, it's roughing the passer. So I turned that off. But also, roughing the passer overrides all these other calls. And I've noticed if you turn face mask down, because you really don't even see face mask being called in college football that much anyways, but I've never seen one called even when I had it turned all the way up. So I turned face mask all the way down. I turned illegal blocking the back all the way down. So that helps with your offensive line blocking. Yes, it does. It helps with your offensive line blocking. I turned illegal blocking the back down. I turned roughing the passer down. I turned roughing the kicker off and running into the kicker off, because that's another one. It's like ghost calls. It's like you're going to rough and run into the kicker every single play. It was extremely OP. I just turned it off. Illegal contact, I left it on. I turned defensive pass interference up because I want to see more defensive pass interference. I want to see more holding. I want to see more outside and false start. So this balances it out. So that right there is how you set up your dynasty. Also, I do kick against wind. You could do whatever you want, but this is what I do. I do tap. So basically you tap X when it goes side to side to side to get it into the middle, and then you tap X again for the power. I don't like that tap and hold because sometimes I be like, I guess like if it delays, it'll kind of mess you up. So I do tap. I also do placement because placement is more like you have more control over it with placement, and it leads the accuracy to be determined by player ratings, which makes it more realistic. So basically with placement, it just allows me to place the ball where I want it to be. So if I want to throw ahead of the receiver, I can place it ahead of the receiver. Outside, I can do it outside. I control the power of the pass, but the accuracy will be determined by player ratings. So that makes it realistic, because if I turn quarterback accuracy down on the sliders, and then this is turned by player ratings, it's going to help you out with the passing. Also, I do moderate slowdown because I've noticed that when you turn it up, it messes up the passes. Honestly, pass lead increase, I do large. Reticle speed 20 because I like fast reactions. User only. I turn AI wide receiver off for user teams because I want to be able to do my own catches. But if you don't know how to throw and then switch onto your receiver to catch the ball, I would say turn this on. Alright. Auto flip, defensive play call on, defensive ball hawk on, defensive heat seeker assist on. You can turn these off. This is however you want to do it. Switch stick delay, turn it off. Turn that off. I'm telling you, turn it off. Defensive switch assist, I mean, you could turn it on. I play with control player on, but you can do whatever you want. These are pretty much just whatever you like to play with. I turn motion blur off. So of course off motion blur, yes. And everything else is pretty much however you like to, pretty much like how you like to do it. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is how you set up your dynasty with settings, SP sliders, gameplay sliders. I'm going to be uploading my sliders now. It's going to be 1090 sliders, and those are going to be the All-American sliders. And then I'm going to do another video probably tomorrow for the Heisman sliders, but it won't be with all the dynasty gameplay things. So yeah, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be coming back with more content. Peace.